Right, guys, we are here for another video. This is going to be discussing, for a change, because we love football, this is going to be discussing the Premier League standings as it stands right now. In a Premier League perspective, I have been a loyal Liverpool supporter for many years. Nathan, who do you support?
For Arsenal.
Us. The results today, results recently, and basically give a wee small prediction to where our teams are going to finish by the end of the season. And we're going to give a top four prediction. I'm not going to do a full Premier League prediction because Premier League's been a bit chaotic this year. But top four can be a bit reasonable. Please tell me you're not going to put Arsenal in the top four, but I'll get to that. Right, so basically the results today for our teams were Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 7. Everton 2, Arsenal 1. Right. So, what's your opinion on Arsenal today? Arsenal today, Arsenal recently, and what do you think Arsenal is going to finish by the end of the season?
Well, I don't even know where to start because I'm fucking raging at every single bit of it.
Well, let's with the team because they've got a good team. Do you know what I mean? They've got their defence isn't the greatest apart from their fullbacks. Right, their centre backs are pretty poor. Bellerin and Tierney to me are good.
Pretty decent.
Their fullbacks to me are good, or pretty good. Their midfield is lacking, I would say, but their attack's good.
Their midfield shit.
They've got a great attack. They've got Aubameyang. Like I say, it's off his game, right? But Aubameyang's he's a world class player. Do you know what I mean? He proves that week in, week out. He even scores against us last week with that one goal. Do you know what I mean? It was funny because I checked the score right and I thought it was 1-0 to Arsenal at first because it came up Arsenal result and it was like Aubameyang. And I went, fuck's sake, they won 1-0 and I realised it was own goal. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, what's actually happening this year is we've got such a strong team that we've actually decided to give everybody a 15-point head start. So then we'll try and claw it back and get top four. That's what's happening. I think it's good.
Aye, so Shaq is going to whip new boots on the second half of the season and turn into a world beater.
Aye, Shaq is going to bitch like Kante and Matic and all that. He'll be fine.
His attitude.
He'll score a hat-trick against Chelsea next week. It's fine.
Chelsea next week, aye?
No.
About 11 day that.
You keep the score below 7, I'll be happy.
I will. Right, so what do you think needs changing? Arteta needs to go? Or
I think Arteta, when he first came, wasn't my number one choice. The main reason because he's not really proved himself as a manager. It's all well and good being a coach and coaching players, but moving on to managers, that managerial side is just totally different. Now that he's here, fair dues got to deal with. Would I sack him? Probably not. I think Arteta's got he's got a way he wants to play, and he's not really had time to bring his own players in. He's came into a season, like basically, after Unai Emery, what he done with the club was just fucking rotten. Like, bringing in staff to actually deal with the transfers. So, like, when Unai Emery was there, they had a boy, I think it was like Sunai or something like that, and he used to actually pick players to play in the team. So he would sign them, and Unai Emery would get no say whatsoever. So fucking Arteta's came into all of these players that just are, well, pish. So there. And he's looked and went, right, how can I try and work this team? Because there's only so many players he can sign. He can't go out and sign 18 players and have a new squad. So he can't one transfer.
So what would you say is the position they need to buy in January? And it needs to be a big player. Obviously, it needs to be somebody that's going to influence and change whatever part of the team that needs it. Me, it'd be centre mid.
To be fair, I think we need a centre back, and the main reason I think that is because Arteta I don't want to sit here just in case Arsenal fans end up watching and end up getting lynched on Arsenal TV or something.
Possibly.
Fucking Arteta doesn't help himself because ever since Arteta's been the manager, if you look at a lineup every week, it changes. Arteta doesn't even know his best team, so he doesn't know who to play, and that's bad in itself. Because if you put two centre back pairs that are different every week, if you keep changing it, a team can't settle. So that's a main big thing. So I think if he can find that best team, sort of to keep clicking and things like that, fine. Like he sort of plays like 4-2-3-1, almost like 4-3-3, kind of
centre back.
Well, he does play Tierney centre back sometimes, but he started playing Tierney as like sort of wing back in a way, and he's actually pretty decent. Like he is all right playing there. The midfield I think's all right because like, it's two holding midfielders. I would have Thomas Partey and El Neni. I think they've been.
Partey is a decent player. El Neni, I'm just not confident in him.
El Neni's he's like Sorrow. He does the basics right, so he's solid to sit there. I think at centre back, the best defence pair right now would be Gabriel and Holden.
Probably, it would be.
Fucking looking David Luiz to fuck.
David Luiz is an absolute bomb scare. He's been like that for years, though. Do you know what I mean? He's always been like that.
Like
he has a storm in a game, but the only way he will have a storm in a game is because the other players, if he's playing with class players around him, make him look good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? See, at Chelsea, he stood out better because his mistakes didn't become worse mistakes because he had good players covering for him, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So his good things stood out more, if that makes any sense. Do you know what I mean? So where do you think Arsenal's going to finish? And so you don't think Arteta should go? I think they might need to make a few signings in January, but where do you think they will realistically finish if they do make a couple of signings?
I think if they turn it around, I think Arsenal would finish about 9th.
Probably realistic, it's not far off. You know
so I mean? It is. I can have a bit of banter and say we're going to head to relegation, but I think after Christmas in the January transfer window, the main thing he has to do is get a team that's settled. See this fucking that you look at the team and you're lucky. See if he had to keep doing this towards the end of the season, you would be lucky to find a player in that team that's made more than 25 appearances, which is frightening. Like one player
changing it that much,
changing. You need players in there. Don't get me wrong, you get injuries.
So, I mean, you need a good team that can go on a run. Do you know what I mean? If you keep chopping and changing, your tactics are always changing as well. Do you know what I mean? Morale's changing. So, but you're going to say 9th then? Is that your final input?
I was 9th.
Right. Well, for Liverpool terms, obviously they're sitting top now, 6 points ahead. Obviously, Spurs have got a game in hand. You've probably got a lot to say about Spurs. You've always got a lot to say about Spurs. You can't stand that club.
I'll try and keep it PG, so well, because I don't want you to get banned for YouTube.
So Liverpool are also 6 points ahead. They're champions currently. There is a couple of teams doing quite well this year, surprisingly well, which I'll get to. Which makes me think that the top four is going to be a complete shapeshift this year. So I think Liverpool keep going the way they're going. They've got a solid team. They're playing well. They're not playing as good as they have done the last 2 seasons, but they're playing good enough. They've got a couple of standouts, and surprisingly, with Van Dijk being injured, and obviously Joe Gomez being out, still not conceding much goals. I mean, it just shows you, even with the two key centre backs out, that core in the mid, the core of the defence is still not getting broke down. Do you know what I mean? I thought genuinely going into the game against Spurs, we might have scored more, but I thought they would have scored more than one because of that, but they didn't. And the team, it just shows the team spirit that they're still going forward with it. So I think that Liverpool will win the league this year. I don't know if you agree with that, but I think they're standouts to the rest of the teams. I think the closest to them would be Spurs to me right now.
That's not wrong challenge, to be fair.
But I think that Liverpool are just a wee good bit ahead of every single other team in the league. Man City have dropped massively.
To be fair,
but
the majority of the games Spurs played us, they kind of struggled against Arsenal. And Arsenal right now are struggling to fucking tie their own shoelaces, never mind kick a ball.
I think Spurs are playing well, don't get me wrong. I think it's because of the attack. They've got Son and Kane who work, they are a dream partnership. They work every time you check a Spurs goal. It's either Kane or Son that scores, and it's always the other that assists. I think Son's some player, man. I think Spurs are playing good football. I just don't think they're going to catch Liverpool, that's all.
I think, though, if you take Son out of that team, Spurs side.
No, I can see that. I can see that because they've not got a lot of other players that stand out to push them forward as much as that. They've got good players, but they just haven't got any.
He's alright, but would Bergwijn really get in any other team in that Premier League?
Bergwijn, I'm not going to lie. Bergwijn should have scored about a hat-trick against Liverpool with the chances he had. Spurs could have won that game, but we also had a lot of chances as well to finish the game off. So, end of the day, we won. So, but I think that Liverpool win the league. I don't know if you agree with that or not. For your prediction, if you can see anyone.
I think Liverpool would probably win the league, to be fair.
And closest challenge would be who?
I actually think after the New Year's drop, Everton are playing alright tonight, but they're not going to be fucking title challengers. I think it will be kind of similar to last year, and I know it's fair to say Liverpool are going to be like 20 points clear, but I think still after January, I think Spurs will start to just disappear. So they're going to I can't see Spurs chasing Liverpool near enough, like within 3 to 6 points between them. I can't see it.
In their squad now as well, that's the thing. Let's see if Salah gets injured. That's not a biggie to us compared to when it used to be. We've got obviously Jota, who's came in, and to be honest, he's actually done pretty good. He scored about 6 or 7 goals, I think it is, in like 9 games or something, which is pretty good going. Do you know what I mean? We've got Shaqiri still, who's still in the team. He's a squad player. He comes in whenever he has played in the cup games, he scored. Do you know what I mean? Not great players, but players that come in and do the job, because we've got a strong midfield. So if our attack isn't as good, the midfield benefits that. We don't just rely on our attack now. But that's why I am saying Liverpool still going to win the league. And top 4 predictions now. This is a bit where it gets tricky, right? So who's your top 4 predictions? We'll do one by one. 4th spot.
4th for me, I'll put Chelsea.
Okay, 4th for me is Man United.
You feeling alright?
No, I would usually but realistically, I think see the last few performances for them, they've went down and behind, right? And they've got a fighting spirit about them. They're somehow pulling games through, and I think that they will get top 4 this year. Chelsea have got a good squad, but I think Chelsea are in the same position that Liverpool were about 4 years ago when Klopp just took over. They've got a young team now that are going to build for the future, and they're going to, I think, in next season, if not the following season, they'll be big title challengers, not just stretching it to the title, but proper flying away with it. Because they've got a solid young team. So they do. So, but I think right now, I'm not saying they can't get top 4 because they've got every chance of getting it, but just I think Man U will edge them.
I just think with the players that Chelsea have signed, I get Man United playing really well. I just think it's really hard to leave a squad of those players out. Because like any of those players you could be 1-0 up, cruising a game, and any of those players could just switch it on like a light and 2-1, like fucking Havertz or Werner or stuff like that. They've proved it in European that they can do it. It's just getting them to click. I think we'll start to see if they start to play really well, you'll start to see like I would you call it like a dominance in Chelsea.
What about 3rd spot?
My 3rd spot was going to be Man United.
You asked me if I'm feeling alright for putting them 4th.
I know, but I was thinking, I See, the thing is, though, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been getting a lot of stick, but he's not that far off the fucking top. We still get like what, a game in hand or something.
I don't think he's the right guy for the job for him, because Man United, to me personally,
Oh no,
as a Liverpool fan, should be challenging for the league. But
I still don't get how you can give him the job to Man United and he relegated Cardiff. It still does not fucking compute with me.
Which I suppose, isn't it? But no, Man United third for you. Mine's is going to be Everton.
Everton? Second?
No, third.
Oh, third there.
I think Everton will get third. I think they've not got an amazing squad, but they've got a bit of team spirit going about them. And Calvert-Lewin has really stood up to the game this year. Whether or not he keeps it up, I don't know. They've got players like Sigurdsson, who's to me, I've always really rated him. I think he's a talented centre attacking midman. And obviously the biggest influence out of them all is Carlo Ancelotti.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got all the experience behind him. If the team starts to fall away, he knows how to fix it. Do you know what I mean? He's got all that big managerial experience behind him to change things and fix things, and inspiration to bring players in. Players want to play for him. So, do you know what I mean? He's got Richarlison as well. Do you know what I mean? He's a good player as well. The thing is, if one of them gets injured, fair enough, they could drop out. But who's to say they won't?
Absolute wow for the day that Richarlison.
Yeah.
His first kid was stinking in that match today. That fucking Richarlison.
I've not even watched it yet. But Everton third. Right, second. Who's your second?
Well,
I think Spurs are going to drop out completely.
I think Spurs. I think Mourinho. He's shown glimpses of what he could be. Right, like Mourinho's best ever managerial season was, in my opinion, was when he was Werner, and he had that sort of 2 seasons where it was just. But ever since then, he's went to Madrid. He's done all right and stuff like that, and he's went on to win quite a lot in his career. I just think ever since like Chelsea in the Premier League, when he's came back to the Premier League, he'll go on a good run of games, but then he'll just fucking completely disappear. I think Spurs might get Euro. I think they might get like 5th or something, but I can see them completely dropping out. Second, I was going for a big turnaround after January and seeing who could shoot up to second. And I'm going to take a risk on this one because I'd like to see it. I was going to say Leicester would just turn it around because I think they've got the capability in their squad. I was going to say City.
Top 4, but I just don't think they'll get it. I can see why though. The thing is, so judging on this, there's about 6 teams that could easily make it into the top 4. It's just difficult who you want to pick. But to me, I can agree with that. But for me, it's Spurs. I don't think Spurs are going to fall away. I think they'll keep up a good title challenge. I still think
Spurs.
Liverpool. Of course, Liverpool are going to win the league to me because I think they've got a lot more depth in the squad and they're stronger. They've got more talented players in terms of working together. Spurs might have Son and Kane, but we've got Salah, Mane, and Firmino. You know what I mean? So it's a trio of players that can score. And not only that, we've got a midfield that can score as well. Do you know what I mean? So Liverpool's going to win the league. Spurs second for me. That's my predictions. And you're going to Leicester second, and I'm guessing Liverpool first.
No, obviously Arsenal's got to turn it around, mate, and fucking just start winning games. No, I think Liverpool. To be quite fair, if Arsenal ever done that, I'd never watch football game. I'd just be so content with life.
Happy 40 years down the line, mind that time Arsenal pulled it back. Invincibles.
And they just completely won every game ever since.
But no, that's cool. So that's the final predictions, guys, for the top 4 finishes for the Premier League, and a wee small reflection on the games today as well added in. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe and be sure to follow the Instagram and Twitter down below, which I attached at the start of the video, and I'll catch you again now. Thanks, guys.